The Redmi Note 12 might just be the new budget king. For 117,000 naira, you get 120Hz AMOLED refresh rate, you get the Snapdragon 685 processor, and it's even in some ways faster and better than the Tecno Spark 10 Pro, which was crowned the budget king. Now the question is this the best value for money? Let's find out. Now let's start with the unboxing. The Redmi Note 12 comes with everything you need to get started with the smartphone. You have the smartphone itself, a 33-watt charger, a manual, a SIM ejector, a USB cable, and a TPU case. This is not going to be the most exciting unboxing, but you get everything you need. This smartphone has a sleek and modern design with a matte finish that doesn't attract fingerprints at the rear. No more wiping your phone on your shirt every 2 minutes just to get rid of those smudges. Now let's talk about the size of this for a minute. This smartphone is quite large, which may not be the best option for a lot of people, especially those who have smaller hands. But for those of you who like bigger devices and have bigger hands, you'll love the larger screen size you get with this device. Now here's where things get a little interesting. The down-firing speaker you get here is just a mono speaker from the smartphone, which seems like a downgrade from the predecessor, the Redmi Note 11. And that's a bit disappointing and even feels like a downgrade from the predecessor. But hey, at least you get a headphone jack to use any wired earphone or headphone of your choice with this device. And also there's an IP53 rating which protects this device against dust and water spray. With a 6.67-inch AMOLED display, you'll never want to look away from this display. And can we just talk about the colors you get with this smartphone? They are quite vibrant and lively and really comparable to the competition right now, that's the A series from Samsung. But wait, it gets even better from there. This display has 120Hz refresh rate, making scrolling and gaming smoother than a freshly shaved head. And it's a great feature to have on a phone at this price point. Now to be honest, I totally noticed times when this display was a little bit choppy and wasn't as smooth as 120Hz refresh rate. And as far as brightness here, this smartphone can be easily used outdoors without having to squint your eyes while looking at this display. It's bright enough. The only thing I would have wanted different for this display would be the Gorilla protection you get here. We get Gorilla Glass 3 instead of Gorilla Glass 5. And we all know how clumsy we can be, and a little extra protection never hurts anyone. The Redmi Note 12 runs on Android 13 with MIUI 14, which is supposed to be a customized version of Android. Although the UI is quite clean and easy to navigate, there's a lot of bloatware that can take up valuable storage space and slow down this device with time. You should expect about 2 years major OS update on this Redmi device, meaning we might see Android 15 on this smartphone. And this is kind of good news, but not great news, because the competition out there from Samsung devices give you up to 4 years of software updates. You get the Snapdragon 685 processor on here with 6 gigs of RAM for my variant and 128 gigs of internal storage. I know they're just fancy numbers and technical terms, but what does this mean for the regular user out there? Well, let me break it down for you. This smartphone performs really well for everyday use like browsing the web and scrolling through social media and even binge watching your favorite TV shows. But the thing is, let's be real here. We're all secretly addicted to those demanding titles and games like PUBG and Call of Duty, and when it comes to those kind of games on the Redmi Note 12, you may notice a little bit of lag and stuttering. But hey, let's give it some credit. This is a budget smartphone and it actually does good for the price you're paying here. So generally, the performance on the Redmi Note 12 is actually a breeze for day-to-day activity. Now on the battery side of things, this smartphone can take you into the next day on an average use, and all thanks to that 5000 mAh battery you get here. And also, if you are in a rush and you need a quick boost for this smartphone, you can get to 50% battery charge with 33-watt charger in about 20 minutes with this device. So I would say the battery life on here is actually solid. Now let's talk about the cameras on this device. The Redmi Note 12 has a 50 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. And let's not forget about the 13 megapixel selfie camera here, perfect for capturing all those duck face selfies. Now don't get me wrong, the photos that come out of this device, the Redmi Note 12, are decent, but they can be a little bit too soft. Now in daylight and well-lit conditions, you get good photos from this device, but when it comes to night mode, well, let's just say this is not the best device for those kind of shots. You actually might need to turn on your light in your room if you want to take photos in the night time. The colors in the photos are just okay, but the ultra wide lens here is actually a nice addition. Although be warned, it does give you a different white balance from the main camera on this smartphone. So if you want to look like a human popsicle, just switch to the ultra wide lens. Now the video recording is limited to 1080p, which is a bit disappointing for a smartphone at this price point, but it's not like we're making a blockbuster movie, are we? So what's the verdict here? While the Redmi Note 12 is a solid smartphone, it's not necessarily an upgrade from the Note 11 from last year. If you already own that device, there's no need rushing out to buy the Redmi Note 12 here, except you don't own that device. Another thing to consider right now is the competition. For the price point, this is actually the best value for money right now, and even in some areas better than the Tecno Spark 10 Pro here. Could be that day.